morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I hope everyone had a great week and you're prepared for a good weekend. So, hold on a second. So, next week I'm on vacation, so I'm not going to be making any videos next week. And so I figured I would make a video today, and this really isn't about anything specific. It's just a personal message to those who listen. So I just want to say, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving if that's what you're going to do. I know everyone is going to have a different experience for their holiday. Some people are going to be by themselves. Some people are going to be surrounded by family. Some people are going to be surrounded by friends. Some people probably have received invites. Some people have not. Some people won't. And despite what your situation is this holiday, that situation, that specific situation, that specific event is carefully and meticulously created for you. Like, your experience is specifically designed for you to experience. And sometimes we get caught up in what we want it to be. Sometimes we get caught up in how we believe it should be. But how it should be is exactly how it's unfolding for you. Because the universe doesn't look at tradition. The universe doesn't look at what people believe to be the right thing. The universe is designed to make sure that you have the best experience possible for your own healing. See, the universe is responding to us in a healing manner because we're injured, we are wounded, we have these emotional injuries within us, and the universe is in healing mode. It's attempting to correct what we have done to ourselves. It's no different than a doctor. You hurt yourself doing whatever it is that you're doing, and you go to the doctor attempts to make you better. Sometimes the doctor is successful, and sometimes the doctor isn't. The thing is, but the universe has an infinite existence because you have an infinite existence. And so, as long as it's in place, as long as you're in place, because the universe is actually created for us, not us solely, because there's many, there's many worlds out there that are like ours. There's eight of them, at least, that are currently known of. Not by people here, but from those who have experienced the other worlds in the spirit world and different places, physical places. So there are physical places where there are other worlds like ours. So it's not specifically made just for us, but it's made for us. So whoever dwells within this universe, physical or non-physical, it's here for us. So as long as we are in existence, the universe will be in existence. But going back to what I was saying, the universe is designed right now, it's focused on trying to heal. And so every situation that everyone or anyone ever has is for their own healing. It's for their own well-being. But we have to be on board with that. Like, we have to understand this is what's going on. So when it comes to these holidays, understand that whatever situation you're in, take advantage of it. Take advantage of understanding why things are going on. But most importantly, if you can bypass the thought process, if you can bypass the notion of having to figure it out before you can feel it, do it. If you can feel how it feels to be alone, if you're alone, then feel that. And understand what I mean by feeling is whatever it is that you desire, like whatever it is, I'll take myself as an example. My sister text messaged me, yesterday or the other day? I think it was yesterday or the day before. I don't know which day it was. Anyway, we haven't spoken in months, and I think the last time it was a text message, and so she sent another text message, and so it was like, hey, I was thinking about you, how are you? And I was like, oh, thanks for the thought, everything's fine, hope you're doing well, hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And that was it. And I said, I think she said she loves me or something like that, and I told her that she's forever in my heart because she is. But the bottom line is I can't have the relationship I would like to have with my sister. That can't happen right now. One, not just because she's in a different place, but because I'm also in a different place. And so we can't have a full-fledged, loving, open, honest relationship because there's too many emotional injuries. Like I don't want to deal. Like when I saw the text, I personally was like, there was a sense of anxiety. I love my sister. Like I would, and I should say this: I desire to have a relationship with my sister, but I know it can't happen now. And it can't happen now because there's still emotional injuries within both of us. So I give her space. I don't bother her anymore. I'm like, you know what? I've attempted to reach out before and to communicate, and she's always had this wall up. So now, because I know what I know, I'm respecting the wall. And I'm like, I won't bother you anymore. And if you want to contact me, but I understand what's going on. But what I'm saying is, there is a desire that I have to have a relationship with my family, but it can't be loving. And I don't want a relationship with anybody if it's not a loving relationship. Because if it's not a loving relationship, it can just turn into something that it really doesn't need to be. But I understand that being in any type of relationship with my sister will trigger some things within me. But for me, I can think about the things and it will trigger me. So I don't need her presence. And I don't want to project something towards her that I shouldn't be projecting towards her. So I just leave it alone. And I try to feel it on my own, like just go through how it feels. And the thing is, when she text messaged me, just that little thing, it brought about a sense of sadness, because it's like I would love to communicate, freely and openly with my sister, but I can't. She's not in that place. My sister's a very judgmental person, and whatever she believes in that's it. And the thing is, and it's really not so much her beliefs. It's she doesn't communicate in truth. Everything is a riddle. Everything is based on what she wants people to see, and that's not honest. And I don't want to have anything to do with anyone who's not honest. And so that's why I limit our relationship, or limit our interaction. But I would love to have an interaction with my family, even my extended family, cousins. But that can't happen either, because they're in their own space, doing their own thing, how they want to live. But the thing is, it's not in harmony with love. And so I have to make a decision for myself, because at the end of the day, when I pass, it's not going to be them that's having my experience. It's going to be me having my experience based on my decisions, my choices. So this is why I say it's so important to live for yourself and clean yourself up. Whatever's in that soul of yours that makes you sad or that makes you angry, try to figure that stuff out. Try to release it. Find the pain. So earlier when I said, take advantage of the situation. If you are with family and you guys get in heated discussions, or you guys get annoyed with one another, or people are sarcastic and they hurt you in different ways, feel that. If someone says something to you and it hurts your feelings, hey, you know what? It may be cold outside where you are, but step outside. Step outside and release it if you need to. Just let it go, but use that opportunity for it to happen. Use that. It's a golden opportunity. It's a golden opportunity. I may go see my little brother. I love my little brother. I love my sister, but me and my little brother, we grew up together, so our relationship is very different than my older sister and my older brother. They were out of the house at the time I was growing up. So I may go see him. It's just kind of far. It's like 4 hours away, and it's really not the distance. It's like what am I gonna do for Thanksgiving? It's like, I'm used, for me, and this is just my own issues that I have. Like for me, when I do Thanksgiving, I do the whole spread. Like that's how I feel Thanksgiving should be. But that's because that's what I'm used to. But what I have to understand is, if I'm stepping into his world, if I'm visiting him, he doesn't have the means to do what I'm able to do, and he doesn't know how to do some of the things that I know how to do. But that wouldn't be the real reason I would be going to see him anyway. It was just to see him and his family. That's it. Spend a few hours with them. Show him that, he has support. I love him, which is true. And that's it, you know. So just whatever your situation is, just take advantage of it. You know, stuff yourself full of food if you want to, you know. You know, maybe this is funny. Maybe I'll take him some tofu because I'm trying not to eat meat. So the whole turkey thing is, you know, kind of out of the question, which is a bummer, you know, because that's what I'm used to. But you know, if I'm gonna live in love, then I'm gonna have to honor the truth that cutting open or killing an animal and cutting it open and cooking it is not the loving thing to do. So anyway, that's just that's all I wanted to say. Let's take advantage of it. And, you know, I'll probably make another one for around Christmas time, but it's the same thing with Christmas, you know. Let's take advantage of the time that you have to release. You know, it's better to be with family and use the pain that they're causing you to heal yourself than it is to be with family and live in facade and make everything happy. You know, it's Christmas. Let's you know, let's just be happy and let's put ornaments and let's smile, even though we hate our guts and even though Uncle Charlie molested, you know, little John or little Sue. You know, let's ha. You know, those are the things that you don't want to do. You don't want to live in facade. You don't want to pretend like everything's okay when everything is not okay. If things are not okay, then feel how not okay it is, and then release it. And guess what? Those things that are not okay won't be anymore. It will change to being okay. Everything will be fine in that respect. And that's how you do it. And the holidays are, people fall into sadness and depression all the time. And these are perfect opportunities. Perfect opportunities. Where's that highway patrol? I know it was, oh, there he is. He was somewhere. I know this black car is not too happy that he's up there because he wants to speed. So yeah, I mean, people get in this depressive state, you know, this state of sadness, and it's the perfect opportunity to just not be sad, but just feel the pain, release the tears, let that emotion come out, because that's the only way it can come out. For those of you who don't know, and I haven't really said it specifically, but releasing your emotional injuries means crying. Like, that's what that means. Like, it's a feeling, it's something that is, or I should say, it's something that naturally occurs when the pain feels so, when the pain feels so, when the soul feels pain. Just look at a child. Understand that the child is the best example to use, because the child comes in without having anything taught to it. The soul, it doesn't, like, the baby hasn't been taught to not cry. The baby just knows how to cry when it feels pain. Well, I should say this, the child knows to cry anytime it feels discomfort. So, if in hunger, it's a discomfort. You want to feel full, you want to feel satisfied, you want to feel sustained. That is what love is to yourself. You're loving yourself to be filled with things that you need, things that you desire. Whatever it is, you should be able to have that. So when a baby comes in and starts crying because it has a wet diaper, that's because it feels uncomfortable, meaning there's a discomfort being experienced. And so the child will cry until that is resolved. And same thing with hunger. The child is hungry, doesn't like the feeling of being hungry. It's dissatisfied. So it cries until it gets what it needs. It can't talk, but that's not what crying is. Crying isn't just to communicate that, it's to release the emotion that's within it. And this is one of the reasons why children cry at birth, because there's emotional injuries within it. There's emotional injuries, and it hasn't been taught to release it. It just knows there's a lot of pain, but it doesn't know what it is. It just knows to cry. It's the soul's program, not the baby's mind's program. It's the soul's program. And the soul controls the physical body. The soul controls the spirit body. That's where everything is coming from, until we learn otherwise. Until we learn, hey, don't cry, be strong. Don't be a weakling. Don't be a sissy. Don't be this. Don't be that. The mind then absorbs a different way of understanding, and it abandons what it already knows, what the Creator has already imbued within it. And see, the thing is, the Creator has allowed the soul to be altered. It has allowed all things to be altered by our free will and by the free will of others. So parents want to teach their children to be unloving by shutting themselves down. Parents want to teach their children how to not love themselves by shutting themselves down. They're shutting their children down. This is what happens. So the child learns something different than what the Creator already has imbued within the soul. And the thing is, what the Creator has designed is always wanting to come up, but we keep holding it back. Even the times you feel you want to cry, some of you just want to break down and cry and you hold it back. Because you're telling yourself, don't do it. I'm going to be made fun of, or this isn't right, they're going to think I'm weak. And that's the complete opposite. That's not true. But you tell yourselves that and you hold yourself back, and so you hold the pain in and it gets worse. And so that's just one more emotional injury that you locked within your soul, just to add to the rest of the thousands that are in there. Seriously, that's this is like I said, this is the perfect opportunity. So if you do feel sad, there was this lady on one of these Red Table Talk thing. So I understand, like, if you have never ever heard of it, Jada Pinkett has, this Red Table Talk, but in the discussion group or the group, people are able to pose their own questions, and so people ask questions. Now, I don't see a lot of these questions as being relevant, but it's relevant to them based on their emotional condition that they're in the moment. So if they're lost and confused, and they're going to ask questions that aren't going to yield answers to help them to no longer be lost and confused. So a person who is lost and confused is going to ask questions that's just going to keep them lost and confused. They're not going to ask relevant questions to heal themselves or to improve themselves. They're going to ask questions to sustain themselves, because that's what every question is something to sustain themselves. Sustain themselves in what? Confusion or truth? Confusion or clarity? Blindness or being able to see? Are they trying to improve their condition? This is the types of questions that we ask is a reflection of our soul condition. You can always tell someone's soul condition based on the things that they ask, based on the things that they say. No, there isn't any soul that is able to hide. Hide from what? You are who you are. You say what you say. You do what you do. And if you know how to read the soul, if you're in the condition where you're not blinded, you're able to see everybody around you. And that's one of the things that I'm able to do, is see what's happening with people around me. And then I use that to if I look at someone and I see someone's situation happening, I then look at myself and ask myself, am I doing that? Do I do that? Am I a victim in some way, or am I an aggressor in some way? I ask myself that. I always compare myself to other people if I find something out about people, or if I recognize something about people, because I'm trying to improve myself. That's my goal. Like, we don't well, something had happened. I can't remember what it was. Oh, anyway, let me get back to this lady. So this lady posted a question on this discussion group and asked, what advice do you have for someone who's going to be spending the holidays alone? Now, that wasn't a real question. That was a loaded question. And first of all, that question was built to get sympathy, because she was feeling some kind of way about being alone for the holidays. So, of course, me being who I am, I went and clicked on her profile and checked out her pictures and looked at what she was writing on her page. Of course, some of the things were limited, so I couldn't see it all. But it doesn't matter, because everything said is a reflection of them in some way, shape, or form. So there was a lot of, church going on. She was a heavyset black woman to be specific. She was all about church. She was all about doing for others. And so I automatically knew why she was alone. She's so, focused on doing for others, God, doing for others, God, doing for others, God, doing for others. Like, that's her theme. She wants to live for God as she understands that to be, and she understands that to be what my mother thought it was. and that was to give. There's more joy in giving than in receiving. And the thing is, these people who live life like, what the hell are you? I don't know what you're doing. You know what? You don't even know what you're doing. Crazy fool. So anyway, they believe that, there's more joy in giving than receiving. And this is true, but you have to be in a certain condition in order for this to be true. Because if you really look at the situation, she has been giving. Oh, these people could care less. Old people crack me up because they're just like, and it's not just old people, they were always ignorant. Like, they were always like, whatever to the world. These are the people who suffer the most, who are not aware of their surroundings. Because if you're not aware of your surroundings, you're not aware of what you're doing to other people. Because here goes that race car again. I knew he was going to come flying around somewhere. He really wants to race. Let me just make a path for you so you can go and do whatever you need to do. You'll probably see him speed doing 100 miles an hour in the 35. Anyway, so, when you have to be in a certain soul state, a certain soul condition, in order for that to really ring true and be true all the way around, in order for it to be truth. So yeah, there is joy in giving. There's great pleasure in giving than receiving. But if you're looking to get something in return, then no. If you're looking to be loving because God says so, or if you're looking to, let me rephrase that. If you're looking to do things, to give of yourself, meaning your time, your money, or whatever it is that you're giving, if you're doing it to, look, man, you can't wait for slow people who are not sure of themselves. You have to let them, you just have to be holding yourself up. So, if you are giving and giving and giving, and you're doing it because you want to be looked at by God as being a good soul, then that's not the right reason. That's not the right reason at all. This is why a lot of Christians and a lot of people of religious faiths end up in dark places when they pass, because they did it because God wanted them to do it. But the truth is, the Creator, no wonder what was coming out of that car. The Creator wants you to be loving because you choose to be loving. It's because you choose to use your free will to live in love. That's what we're rewarded for, because we're choosing to be loving, because we want to be that, not because we feel we have to be that. Here we go. Oh, my goodness. So, not because, it's because the Creator wants us to choose this path of living in love. Not because the Bible says so, not because anybody says so. It's because we choose to be that. I choose to be that. Like, I choose to want to be more loving. So that's what I do. I try to learn about the things that I'm doing that are unloving and try to stop them when I find out that they are unloving, because there's so many things that we do that we don't know that are unloving. So I try to fix that because I want to fix it for myself, not because God wants me to be loving, not because a pastor, preacher, reverend, priest, not because my mother or father or any grandmother or anybody else says, it's good to be good, or, be a good person or a loving person. No, I do it because I choose to, because I choose it for myself. Just like people choose to be unloving. Look at this. This game doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. These people, whatever. See, anyway. So, if you're gonna be on this path, then do it for yourself. Some people would do it for their children, but the problem with doing it for your children is that there really isn't any soul change. See, soul change happens when you do it for yourself. When you desire it for yourself. You cannot use love as a means to an end. You can't say, oh, I'm going to be a good person. I'm going to be rewarded because I'm this way. Like, the rewards are the consequence, the natural consequence. It's the byproduct of being a loving individual, having love within your soul. It's just a natural consequence. You reap the rewards of being that. Love is something that has to come from within, and I've said it before. The self-love, it has to start within you, within yourself. You cannot give love to someone else if you don't have it within you. This is why it has to start with you. Your desire to be loving has to start with you. It can't be for an outside or an external reason. It has to be for an internal reason. Because I don't want to be a bad person. I don't want to be an unloving person. I don't want to be a hurtful person. I don't want to be a vindictive person. I don't want to be a vengeful person. I don't want to be that. I want to be good. I want to be loving because this is what I want. It's really that simple. You have to want it for yourself. And this is what is able to sustain you. This desire that you have for yourself, within yourself, this is what sustains you. This is what enables you to be on that island that I was talking about. Change cannot happen any other way. Because if you're using other things or things outside of you as the reason to be different, you're also allowing the opportunity and the potential for other external things to shift you from what you're trying to do. Because you're using things that are outside of you as a reason to change. And those things outside of you are constantly changing because you don't have any control over those things. This is why I say it's so important to do it for yourself. Self-love. Do it because you want to be loving for yourself, because you want to be different. Because like I said, at the end of the day, when you die, you are the one who is stuck with everything that you have done, all the things that you have, all the intents that you have, all the intentions, all of that is going with you. So the amount of anger and pain and rage and love and whatever that you hold within yourself, you're taking all of that with you. All of it. So all the emotional injuries that you wanted to ignore, you're still taking those with you. All the emotional injuries that you got rid of, you won't be taking those with you because you got rid of them. You have to contend with yourself when you die. And if this isn't important to you, it should be. It doesn't have to be, but it should be. And if it's not, you'll find out. You'll find out what that means later. You have the potential to know what it means now. I've talked about it. Other people have talked about it. You already know what the potentials are. You know. And some of you have already heard the spirits talk about how it is to be in the lower spaces within the first dimension. You've heard how it is. You've heard them describe the feelings that they feel in darkness, how cold it is, how afraid they are, how always on guard they are. You see, you don't want to experience those things, but some of you will have to experience those things because you're not taking it seriously. Because you're still having God's grace. All this is God's grace. You people don't know what you're doing with this concrete truck. That's a loaded concrete truck. That is not stopping fast at all. People see me they just do crazy things. Crazy things. And one, because they don't know. A lot of people don't know the things that they do. Yeah, it's easy to say, oh, don't, go in front of a truck, but they don't know the reasons why. They just say, don't do it. It's dangerous. But why is it dangerous? I used to be a concrete dispatcher, so I already know the potentials of cutting in front of a truck like that or being behind one. But that's because I have personal experience. But it's all because we don't know. But a person doesn't have to know that. They can just know that it's dangerous and not do it. But people ignore it. They ignore it because they're so focused on what they want to do. And this is what puts humanity in the bad place that it's in. Is they're so focused on what they want to do, they're not looking at the consequences of what could happen by doing what they're doing. Oh, this car is so bumpy. So for those of you who have been following for a while, you guys know that my car is like bumpy. It's just so rough. Like it feels like I'm riding in a wagon. And I said I've replaced suspension and like struts and shocks and springs and axles and control arms, and like, I've done it, right? I've replaced stuff, and it's still bumpy, and it keeps getting progressively worse. Well, the mechanic finally figured out what it was, which is interesting because it was the first thing that came to mind about 2 years ago. I did some research, and I came to the conclusion that it was the subframe, and that's what's the problem. It's the subframe. It's not the actual subframe, it's the bushings, the mounts that are on it that prevent the vibration being transferred to the body of the car. So that's what it is, and so that's why I won't have my car next week for a couple of days, because I have to replace that. So hopefully I can have my smooth ride again, because I can tell the noise is showing up in my videos. But anyway, just thought I'd put that out there because I've talked about it before, and now I finally figured it out. Now I have to figure out what the spiritual meaning is, what the metaphysical meaning is behind that. I have a feeling as to what it is, because there's nothing structurally wrong with the frame or the subframe, but it's the component that's in place that allows it's like, if I translate it, it's like the soul is the body of the car, and there's nothing wrong with that, but the things that need to be in place in order to have a smooth ride are not in place. So there's certain things within that are not within my soul. There's a certain amount of love that's not within my soul, but it's related to specific things that would produce a smooth ride, and that translates to even the part-time job that I'm having to work in order to pay down this credit card debt. So when I look at things when I look at the subframe and there's nothing wrong with it, but it's preventing a smooth ride, that means that I can't have a smooth ride in life. And my life is not smooth in that respect, because I would love to not have to work 2 jobs, in order to, pay down this debt that I have, but understand that I've incurred this debt. So I have to understand that I have done this. I have created this by my lack of love to self. And so some of you know that, I've allowed family members to use my line of credit, and I'm not saying it's all them, because I've overspent myself, but I've allowed others to do things to me that have created this. And it's that I didn't allow certain things to be in place that would support a smooth ride, and I need to change certain things still. I have to acknowledge what it is, and I also have to release I have to change the beliefs that I have. Some of them that I still have, I've let some of them go. But there is a big difference in terms of changing your belief or changing your action. So I can change my action. And for instance, like in the past, I would go out of my way to help people, and I would take away from myself to help someone who doesn't have. So I would take away from myself, even though I've been blessed to have what I have. I would take that and help someone who isn't able to generate for themselves. And so I take away from myself to give to someone else who doesn't have love within themselves to generate for themselves. And that's an unloving thing, and there are consequences to that. And so it prevents me from having a smooth ride, because I keep eating away at the very thing that would allow me to have a smooth ride. So for instance, had I never allowed myself to give money out the way I did, knowing that they wouldn't be able to pay it back, I wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in now. And so I can't have a smooth ride, because those bushings that mount, that the finances that I had that would allow me to have a smooth ride, I ate away at that. And it's like if you look at what the bushings are, what the mounts represent, it's a cushion. And that's what money is. It allows you a nice cushion to have a nice ride, so you can do the things you want to do when you want to do it. And that isn't able to happen now, because I gave it away. It eroded, and it's not there anymore. Now there isn't any, it's all ripped. It's like I saw it with my eyes, and it doesn't allow stability. And so the mounts keep everything in place, and reduces the vibration, so it reduces the impact from the road. So whatever came my way, whatever comes my way, the bushing would dampen that, so I wouldn't feel it, because I would have enough to sustain whatever is coming my way. Whatever imperfection in the road came my way, I would have, in translation, I would have money to take care of it, no problem. So that's what it sort of represents. And so, you know, I'm still having to, I figured it out. Now that's a good thing, because understand this has gone on for 2 years. Now I've known about this for about 2.5 years, but I allowed mechanics to tell me it was this, that, and the other. And I never suggested the subframe. And that's another law of attraction thing. I never suggested what I thought it was. So I never instructed anyone to take a look at what I already knew or felt within myself the problem was. And so I have spent thousands of dollars allowing mechanics to say, okay, well, it could be this, let's take care of this, and that may help, let's take care of that may help, many more money. Now, had I spoke my truth in the beginning, had I spoke what I knew or what I felt at the moment, even if that's not what it was and I suggested it because I felt that's what it was, I didn't honor myself at the time. And so that means I had to waste thousands of dollars before the realization happened. And all of this is law of attraction. All of this is law of attraction. And all of this is a reflection of my life. And so this is what I'm saying. Like, you look at your life, you know, use this opportunity, this holiday to figure out some things about yourself. Ask yourself why things are happening, because things are happening for a reason, specifically for a reason. Nothing is random. Nothing is random at all. So hopefully some of you guys can do that. Some of you, you know, I don't know. I mean, you're just gonna have to, like I said, every situation is different, but they're really not. The signs are all the same. It just the reasons are different. Well, the reasons are the same. Like, the emotions are the same, but they I should say, how should I word it? All the emotions that we feel, they're all the same, with various intensities. But we can't say, oh, your pain is different than my pain. Your pain is more intense, but it's because of the same reason. The emotion is the emotion. Like, a loss here, a mother who loses their child and a brother who loses their sister, it's both a feeling of loss. It's both loss. And so we can't say that a mother's pain is greater than the sibling's pain. What we need to say is it's the feeling of loss, and I understand what that is. Now, I can't say that I feel exactly what you feel, because there are many different emotional injuries that are within us that change the way we feel that feeling of loss. So some of us may be a little hardened. Some of us may be more reluctant to feeling the feeling of loss. So it may not be as intense for them because they're holding that feeling back. Whereas someone may be more in alignment with feeling the full intensity of it. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, we can't really judge what someone else is feeling in terms of loss. Like, oh, you don't know what it feels like to lose a child, or, you know, you tell that to someone who lost a parent. You know, maybe the person who lost a child hasn't lost a parent, but the person who they're saying you don't know what it feels like to lose a child maybe lost a parent. And so it's not that we can't understand what it feels like, because the experience, the event is different. The pain is the same. The emotion is the same. So we all feel the same thing, but we look at it differently. We use the events to determine what someone is feeling, but we don't look at the real thing that determines what we're feeling, which is the blocks that we have. Are we allowing ourselves to feel, or are we disallowing of ourselves to feel? Just look at someone who goes to a funeral. Some people cry, some people don't. It's not that the person who isn't crying doesn't feel pain. It's that they're blocking their pain. And some people don't even know they're blocking the pain. Some people don't even know that, you know, they don't know why they can't cry, because they've blocked themselves off from emotions for so long. So anyone who doesn't cry, they have more pain within themselves than the person who's actually releasing the pain, who's showing the emotion of sadness, of loss. The person who doesn't cry, who doesn't show anything, they're in more pain than you can ever imagine, because they can't even allow themselves to feel a certain emotion. They can't allow themselves to feel the pain because they're suppressing it. train themselves to suppress it at all costs. Why? Because they have a lot of childhood emotional injuries. See, the world, people will have these discussions, red table talks, and, therapy, and all these different things, and they'll try to look at the event. And these people don't know. They don't know. They don't know. I'm so glad this coming week I'm not working, because it'll give me a time to work on my book. I posted on Instagram that, chapter 1 is, titled Truth. But as I was there attempting to write it, I was like, I think this has to be the last chapter. I mean, I think it's going to be the first chapter, but I think it's going to be the last chapter that I actually write. And it was interesting because, I was like, there's just so much that encompasses truth. It's like, I feel I have to write the book in a random way, because what I try to do is, do like everyone else says to do, writes books, which is, have an outline, and I'm like, I tried that, and I did that, and I was like, this is not working for me. So I have to write randomly. I have to write what comes in the moment, and make those chapters whatever they may be. Instead of trying to make something what it is, I need to allow it to be what it needs to be. And in life, that's the best thing to do. Allow your life to be what it needs to be, not what we want it to be, especially in our degraded state, because we don't know what that should be. In a degraded state, we have to understand why we're in a degraded state, because we're not sure. So to act like we are sure, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And you'll come up with something that you think should be, when it should have been something else. It could have been something greater if you just allowed it to happen as it happens. It's the same thing with emotions. People try to figure out the emotions. They try to put labels on it. They try to identify what it is before they feel it. But if they just felt it, everything would fall into place. If they just allow things to happen as they naturally happen, everything is perfect. Everything is perfect if we just allow it to be. But when we try to control things, we have the ability to control, but understand that anytime we control something, it's to make it be something that we are comfortable with. That's the problem. Is we're trying to make ourselves feel good. We're trying to make ourselves feel comfortable with this control thing, and that's a way to deny what's really within our soul. What really is. That's what we're doing, is denying it. Because we want it to be a certain way, but we don't know how to make it be like that. Because if we did, then they would have been done a long time ago. All the things that we control and try to put in place, if we knew what perfection was, if we knew how to attain it, I should say, then that would have been done a long time ago. But we don't. So we have to just let things unravel the way that the universe is designed to allow it to unravel. We have to cooperate with the universe, meaning we have to acknowledge the things that are within our soul. And then once that happens, you're freed of the burden of, or you're freed from the restriction of all the things that we are burdened by. So anyway, that's the end of this video. So again, I hope you guys have a great holiday, and I'll probably talk to you guys the week after the holiday week. All right. Okay, everyone. Take care. Bye now.